Why folk etymology misleads you about word evolution. Imagine trying to understand a word's story, only to find it has been changed by people trying to make sense of it. Folk etymology is what causes this mix-up. It happens when speakers see a strange or unfamiliar word and change it to something they recognize better. For example, the word sparrowgrass came from the Greek word for asparagus. People changed it because the original was hard to understand, and they linked it to familiar words like sparrow and grass. This kind of change hides the real history of the word. Folk etymology often alters how words are spelled, how they sound, or what they mean. Sometimes it creates new words, and other times it just shifts how we think about old ones. Take muskrat, which actually comes from an indigenous word musquash. But because English speakers saw rat in it, they changed it to something easier to relate to. This shows how folk etymology can distort the true origin of a word. It also spreads false stories about where words come from. For example, many believe rule of thumb is about an old law on wife beating, but that story isn't true. These myths spread because they are easy to remember. When you learn new words, knowing about folk etymology helps you see why words look or sound the way they do today. It encourages you to look into real history instead of guessing. For instance, hamburger sounds like it relates to ham, but it actually comes from the city of Hamburg in Germany. The part ham tricks many into thinking it's about ham meat, but the true story is different. In short, folk etymology makes us see words in a simplified way that often isn't accurate. It replaces the real, complex history of words with stories or forms that seem familiar. This can lead to misunderstandings about how language really evolved. Recognizing folk etymology helps us appreciate the true roots of words and avoid being misled by popular but incorrect explanations.